So about 3.5 years ago, I created a video where I talked about doing a 180 on my career. So going from being an engineer to becoming a filmmaker. In that 3.5 year period, a lot more stuff has happened, more changes have come about. And I also realized that it can be a very scary time. And there are a lot of you out there who are looking to change your careers, do a 180, maybe from something that's technical to something that's creative or vice versa. And today I want to list out my top 10 lessons learned from doing a career change that can hopefully help you on your journey if you're looking to do the same. The first tip on my list is to actually explore what you enjoy doing. If you're like me, you might have fallen into a 9-to-5 where you went to an interview, you got a job, and then you just carried on in your comfort zone in that job, and it wasn't actually what you wanted to do. You didn't conscientiously move in that direction. What happens afterwards is you start to get promoted up the career ladder. They keep you in a comfort zone, they keep you tied down with a nice paycheck and maybe some nice perks, but you actually spend a lot of time doing things you don't actually want to do. So what I would say is spend a bit of time exploring what you actually enjoy. For me, while I was working full time, I spent a lot of time playing around with things like After Effects. I turned holiday videos into little projects that I could work on at home. And I realized I really liked the process of filming, editing, and creating special effects. And these early videos really fed my curiosity and gave me a glimpse into what the world of video production would be like, turning my passion into a career. The second thing I would recommend doing is looking at your transferable skills, things that you can take from your current role through to your new desired career. So for me, there were a lot of problem solving skills because I worked as an engineer. There was a lot of organizational skills that were necessary. I did a lot of communication with third parties while working as an engineer for B-Sky-B. And a lot of these were necessary later on when it came to landing clients for video production roles, when it came to organizing my time and my money, particularly for things like taxes. So I would spend a bit of time just writing down what your transferable skills are and how they're going to benefit you in your next career move. The third thing that I would recommend you do is to research the industry that you want to get into. So for me, when I was thinking about video production, it was probably more doing adverts for TV. This was also the time when YouTube was really starting to take off, and I was following a lot of YouTubers and I was interested in the latest cameras. And I noticed that there was potentially a career or a side thing that could be done maybe with YouTube or video content creation in general using something like After Effects for animation. Things have evolved massively in the last 10 years. So really research the industry now, but also the potential direction that the industry that you're interested in might take. The next thing that you want to do with your career shift is to start building a portfolio to prove that you've got the skills necessary to undertake whatever that is that you want to do. So for me, for example, I started to do freelance gigs on a website called People Per Hour. I actually did my very first job for free so I could get that person's testimony on my People Per Hour portfolio, but also showcase that I could edit After Effects templates as well. I also started to do things with animated logos, and I started to push out towards doing things like wedding videography. And I did a lot of these early jobs for free or really heavily discounted so that I could have a body of work to show to potential clients. Next thing on my list, point 5, would be to find mentors and or a community of people. So for me, early on, I had the opportunity to have a secondment in Sky Creative, and I found a couple of creative people that I could contact that could give me advice on my work. Later on, I joined a small editing house in Shoreditch, and I was able to find some creatives there to kind of coach me and give me advice, particularly when it came to animation. Also nowadays, we have a lot of Facebook groups, you've got Discord, we have even Reddit groups that you could go to find advice, ask questions, and learn. I would also encourage you to be active in those communities. So as you learn and you get more knowledge, share that with other people so that you become an authority in that area. Point number 6 is to adapt and keep on learning. Now, I have absolutely zero qualifications when it comes to filmmaking or editing. Everything I know is self-taught. The University of YouTube way. For example, I learned After Effects by just spending countless hours learning how to keyframe and rotoscope and mask and just the nuances of how After Effects works through countless hours of repetition. So put the hours in. And as we enter the world of AI, I'm becoming more and more interested in how AI can speed things up, not just visually, but also using things like ChatGPT to help me organize more, to help me focus in more on my audience, and to give me suggestions and tips for tags and titles and things like that. Don't ever stick your nose up at learning something new. Even if you feel like, I don't want to get involved in AI or I don't want to get involved in programming, don't walk away from it if it can help you improve your learning and also the direction that you want to take your career in. Point number 7 is seeking out practical experience. So for me, while I was working at Sky as a technician, I was able to have a secondment over to the creative department, where I spent time working with creative leads, and I spent time working with all sorts of different artists. And that practical experience put me actually in the environment where I wanted to be in the future. And it also made that career change more vivid in my mind, and it made things much more real. Point number 8 is to make sure you create a financial safety net. So before you do your career change, before you pull the plug, before you hit the button, before you walk out the door of your old job, make sure you have a financial safety net. Generally, what you'll hear people say is have between 3 to 6 months saved. And that should cover you in the interim period while you're trying to get more experience or perhaps get a role, land a job, and have a backup plan, because things don't always work out. For me, I've been freelancing now full time for 3.5 years, and it's tough because things go up and down quite a lot. And at the moment, things, they're quite tough, like not just for me, but for everyone. So having a contingency, having a plan, and continually looking for new opportunities is just going to help bolster you and put your mind at ease, and hopefully reduce some of that stress and anxiety. Point number 9 is to build a support system around yourself. Not everybody is going to support the idea of you changing your career. When I told some very close people to me that I was changing my career, some people weren't very enthusiastic about that. What are you going to do? You're going to go and do video. How are you going to make a living from that? This is like 12, 13 years ago. But saying that, I did have some very supportive people in my life. So my wife is a good example, where she supported this transition from me going from an engineer to a full-time creative. I even had an opportunity to go back to my old job, and she discouraged me from doing that. She said, why don't you focus on what you want to do? Because you were miserable at your old job. Focus on what makes you happy and try and turn that into a career. So she really supported me, particularly through tough times as well. It's important to have a support network or a support group. If you don't have people that are close to you that can do that, then reach out online, because there are lots of groups that have a very similar interest to perhaps what you want to do that can give you help and advice. My final point is that you should expect there to be a steep learning curve and lots of challenges. Remember your old career where everything just seemed easier? That's because you did that stuff every single day. So it became second nature, it flowed really easily. When you're starting this new career change to your passion, it might not necessarily be as easy, because it's something that you've been doing as a hobby, or something that you've been doing on the side, and something that you're not entirely clued up about. Maybe you've taken a leap of faith to get there. So expect there to be challenges. Now for me, I'd been working in a technical role for 6 years. It was like starting from the bottom again. So I was building up a portfolio, which means I was working for free, which means I was giving away my time to try and build this portfolio. And challenges have come along the way and still continue to come even now. And the way that we deal with those is really going to be make or break to whether we succeed in what we want to actually do. So remember, it's not just about making a switch to what you want to do. It's also about being courageous and bold and taking a leap of faith and trying to turn what inspires you into something that you can make a living from. Get out of your comfort zone, embrace the challenges, and learn from each and every experience, whether it's good or bad. And with that tenacity and determination, it's very possible to turn those aspirations that you have into real achievements. And who knows, one day you could be posting your journey online and maybe inspire somebody else to take that leap of faith and follow their path to success. What advice would you give people who are stuck in a job they don't want to do and they want to do something else?
If you're stuck in a job you don't want to do and you want to do something else, then there's 2 ways to do it. Either you can talk to your boss, say you want to quit, so you got a better job, and then go to that job, the job you want. But there's another reason. What happens if the job is either too expensive or you break? Do you have to pay for a job?
They pay you. You go to a job, you do what they want you to do, and they give you money.
Oh, I thought you have to pay for a job.
You don't have to pay them, although you do pay them in some respects.
Yeah.
Because you give up your hopes, dreams, and ambitions to do what they want you to do. But it's different. Someone might have responsibilities. They might have a family.
Yeah.
They might have a mortgage, bills to pay. They can't just quit their job, can they?
True.
Yeah. So what can they do?
Well, if you can't quit your job, then wait a little while. Wait till either the bills have gone down or you've got enough money to pay the bills, and then you can. But before you quit your job, find the job you want and then book that job. So like go to that job and then you book it. Do you book a job? How do you go to a job? How do you get a job?
I think that would be the topic of our next discussion.
No, thank you, because I have no idea what that means.
All right. Thank you for sharing your nuggets of knowledge with us today.
Very hard. Today, is my last day of, I'm still going to tidy, but my last day of tidying till I'm going to get a cabinet because we're going to get a lizard.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's not guaranteed. Wow, so today is day 26 of Vlogtober. We went in a little bit deep with the experiences and some of the advice here. Hopefully you found this useful, guys. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell button for notifications. We have a few more days, and I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who's been supporting, who's been messaging, who's been leaving comments and sharing some of the stuff as well. I appreciate that. I hope to finish this challenge strong, so keep your support up, guys. With that said, I will see you tomorrow.